Fran, Fran, hello, come on, yeah. Okay, Fran, Fran. Okay, okay. Today I'm going to talk about traveling to Australia from a non-listed country. So some countries are listed. There's different categories like one, two, three, um, where I believe like New Zealand is, for example, one. Two is places like Singapore, the UK, which are rabies free, and three is places like Hong Kong, which are rabies controlled, or to a very high level. So um, uh, for the schedule three, or it's not scheduled, but for the category three, they need to have a rabies blood test. From the category two countries, they don't need to have a rabies blood test. Now, so we have offices both in Hong Kong and in Singapore. From Singapore, they don't need a blood test. From Hong Kong, they do need a blood test. Now, today I want to talk about something different to this, which is if you're coming from an unlisted country. So there's a lot of countries which Australia won't even have your country on the list. So they have a list of maybe 30, 40 different countries which are category two and category three, where you're allowed to travel from that country directly to Australia without without a problem, as long as you follow certain rules and regulations and do certain tests in a certain timeline. Now, there's other countries where they're not on the list, where you're not allowed to do that. So I'm thinking Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, mainland China, um, Malaysia, India, Pakistan, Africa, South America. There's hundreds of countries. Um, Maybe not hundreds, but there's probably are 100. Um, Now, how do you do it? So you have to go to a listed country and spend 6 months in a listed country before you can move. Now, so a lot of people would choose, for example, Hong Kong or Singapore as a transit destination to do this 6 month time period in. Um, Actually, a lot of people also consider maybe the US, maybe Europe, maybe the UK. But if you're based in Asia, a lot of people would consider Hong Kong or Singapore. Now, at the moment, we're recommending Singapore because the quarantine wait times to get into Singapore are much more reasonable than Hong Kong at the moment. But of course, these things can change. So, um, because yes, at the moment, if you have a dog coming into Singapore, you only need to wait 1 or 2 months for quarantine. But to come into Hong Kong, the wait list is still more than a year. So it's a bit impossible. So it's better you go to a different place. Um, so so essentially, yes, say you're coming from Vietnam or you're coming from mainland China, we help with the situation on a weekly basis. Okay, I'll see if Fran wants to come back in the room. Fran, what you want? Fran, you want some attention? You coming back? Not sure. Okay. Usual situation. Door, door open. Come on in. Door open. Don't want to come in. Door closed. Want to come in. Okay. I think she just wants to see what's happening everywhere. Okay. Um, yeah. So, um, just to introduce where we are, we're in our Hong Kong facility. This is our boarding place with hello, with pet boarding. That's why there's animals around me. That's why there's some dogs barking. That's why there's lockers for the different animals, different pets boarding their things. Okay, so yeah, as I'm saying, we recommend Singapore as a place to stay for 6 months. So when the pet comes in from Vietnam or from Thailand, um, then then they'll need to spend 1 month, actually it's 30 days, in the government quarantine. So of course there's you have to actually have a rabies blood test pass to get into Singapore, and you have to had parasite treatment done within a week before travel. You have different requirements and rules that are needed to satisfy the Singaporean AVS. Once you're into Singapore, you need to stay for 30 days in the quarantine. You then need to stay for another 5 months in Singapore. Now we can help with our partner boarding facilities. With our friends, you can stay with in a boarding place. You can, if you have relatives or you have friends in Singapore, then you can stay with them. Then that will be more easy and fun. Lots of people choose Singapore because if you live in Asia, then Singapore is an easy place to come and visit your pet, and it's a safe, rabies-free, good place for your pet to stay. Now in Singapore, so if it's a dog, if it's in Singapore, you have to start your leptospirosis vaccines again, because the Australian government won't believe or really accept the paperwork which is done prior to entering Singapore. They only care about what's been done within Singapore, because Singapore is on the list. Hello. Okay. Fran, what you want? You not had breakfast? I think you had breakfast already, no? You want second breakfast? See, you want second breakfast? Or third breakfast? Or you want me to find a ball? You just want to tickle? What you want? Okay. Okay. You like that? Okay. I'm sure if you can see her. Okay. She's gorgeous. Right, Fran? Okay. You're the star, right? Okay. So then there's a sequence of things which needed to be done before can travel. So there's parasite treatment needs to be done in the few days before going to Australia. It also needs to be done within about a month before going to Australia. Blood test needs to be done for leishmania, and if you're not been sterilized, also for brucella, which is a STD of dogs. Okay, what are we doing? This is the door, which if I shut, she wants to come in. If I don't shut, then she doesn't want to come in. Right? Anyway, she's a lovely dog. Yes. Okay. Where's your friends? Okay. We'll get you a chance to play with your friend later, okay? Okay. Okay. So I hope that helps. Yes, we're very familiar with sending pets through Singapore to Australia. We have one of our staff members actually living in Melbourne, who's worked for Ferndale for about 15 years, and so we have a team. We have a team in Singapore. We've been doing pet travel since we started in 1994. We've been members of IPANTA, the International Pet Travel Agency Association, since 1997. One of the founder members, and also we're one of the founder members of GEM, the Global Exclusive Movers Pet Network. So I talk regularly for IPATA, for GEM, presenting on pet travel related topics. So you can, our tagline is trusted care for every journey. I'm a veterinarian. I've been a veterinarian for 25 years. So our company, we give back 10% of every pet boarding in Hong Kong. We don't have a pet boarding facility of our own in Singapore, so we can't do that. But in Hong Kong, we give back 10% to pet charities. So we deeply care about pets. With our team have transported their own pets. We have one team member who transported his own pet to the UK. one to Australia. So we will treat your pets like family and as if they are our own. Okay, I hope that helps. Any questions, drop them in the comments. If you'd like to have more videos on other topics, please let us know. Okay, have a great day.